April Fool's Day is tomorrow, so here's some easy pranks that you can go pull. Walk up to somebody as if you're trying not to laugh and ask them, how was breakfast? And no matter what they say, just walk off with a smirk. And at least a couple of times throughout the day, just be like, hey, how you feeling after that breakfast? Maybe throw in, you're looking a little bit pale. Might be the breakfast. I guarantee they're gonna feel sick and you didn't even have to do anything. Leave a post-it note on someone's desk that says, see me immediately, but the signature is illegible. Leave a Krispy Kreme box on the counter, but fill it with vegetables. Cut up some hot dogs, cover it in chocolate, and call them marshmallows. Get some Oreos, remove the white stuff, refill it with toothpaste. Cover every single item in the fridge, pantry, and medicine cabinet with googly eyes. Create a porn folder, take a screenshot of the page, then just make that the screensaver so they're not able to click it away. You can do something similar with the folder name on somebody's phone. Since April Fool's Day is coming up, I thought I'd give you guys some pranks that you can actually do. Replace someone's valuable and oh so precious hand sanitizer with lube. Completely cover someone's bar of soap in the shower with clear nail polish, that way it doesn't lather and soap up. If the person you're trying to prank uses Google Chrome, download this web extension called Ncage and wait for the chaos to ensue. Let's say they Google something random like bananas, okay? It's gonna be normal, bam, Nicolas Cage. No matter what they search, it'll turn every image into Nicolas Cage, and the best part is you can actually hide it from the Chrome menu, that way it's harder to figure out what the fuck is going on. Put a sign that says gullible on the ceiling, take a picture of it, and then take it down. And whenever somebody's in that area, be like, hey, it says gullible on the ceiling. More than likely, they're gonna look up, bam, joke over, you got them. But if they're smart, they're going to be like, I'm not dumb. That's when you take a picture of it, but you don't actually take a picture of it. You just pull up the picture you took earlier, show them, they're going to look up and nothing's going to be there and it's going to be hilarious. In the middle of the night, swap the bowls with the plates and the plates with the cups and the knives with the forks and just wait for all the confusion to start. This one might get you disowned, but like, worth it. Take the lid off the shower drain and shove a plastic bag full of chocolate powder mix down. Put the lid back and just wait for somebody to take a shower and you're gonna just hear sounds of disgust when brown water starts rising. Find the most annoying song you can, turn the volume all the way up, okay? And when you finally get there, just mute it and then wait for somebody to come unmute it. It's gonna be great. Put some clear tape on the bottom of somebody's mouse. Use the snippy tool to take a screenshot of somebody's wallpaper, like that. And then change that to their actual wallpaper picture and make sure you recycle all of their actual icons. April Fool's Day is just a couple days away, so here's some ideas that you should probably get started on. This Rain-X stuff is used to keep your windshield wipers from fogging up, but if you put it on a bathroom mirror, you can make your roommate think that your house is haunted by just writing something in it like, get out, help me, or something a little bit more personal. And you can get it off and write something else by just using dish soap. Put a wig on a basketball and slide it into somebody's bed, that way it looks like a person, so when they get under the covers, they get like mildly surprised, okay? But the trick is you do this for a couple of days, so they get used to it, they get annoyed, until on April 1st, you wear the wig and get into their bed. Record an audio that is just 10 seconds of complete silence and then whispering the victim's name. Get that audio file onto their computer. Look up change system sounds. Go to the minimize option and add that sound as a setting. Now whenever they minimize an application, they're gonna think that they're going crazy. Here's a little psychology hack to be instantly more attractive. Imagine me and you were talking and I'm listening to everything you're saying, but I'm kind of being like, wow. Oh, nice, interesting, that's cool, tell me more about that. There's nothing wrong with this, it's a very friendly way of engaging in conversation, but it's showing that you're seeking something out from it, you know? You're reacting to everything they're saying, you're leaning in, and it shows that you're attracted, but it's not necessarily attractive. So the trick is to stay within your own energy. Just slow down a bit, stay on your heels, like lean back away from the conversation. Still stay engaged, but don't like need as much from it, you know? If you do this, you're gonna be like a magnet, I promise. There's this psychological idea that you should probably know about because it applies to all humans that aren't aware of it, called the illusory truth effect. And it basically states that you can get the edge on somebody's entire belief system as long as you tell them something first. So if you go and tell somebody and go on about how bad a movie is, and then they go and hear somebody say like, oh, the movie's actually pretty good, they're just going to focus on the bad. Same if you go and tell somebody like, oh, this restaurant is really good, and then somebody else says that it's bad. They're just going to focus on the good because that's what they heard first. It's literally the idea that you will believe the first thing that you hear. Little extra fun fact, this is actually the entire idea behind conservatism and traditional values. I wish you luck with this new piece of information. Here's some dark psychology tricks that you need to be aware of because it's straight up manipulation. Insinuations, hinting that you know something without saying the thing that you know. It's a tactic that people use to string people along and control them. Like, if you ever met somebody that's like, hey, I gotta tell you something. You're like, okay, what? And they're like, nah, never mind. I don't know if I should say it. And you're like, no, wait, what? Don't do that. Don't fall into the trap. Instead, just be like, oh, okay. The silent treatment. This is when somebody punishes you because they can't communicate their own feelings. It's one of the most dehumanizing forms of psychological abuse, and the best way to combat this is to ignore it. If you do that, I promise you, they're not going to stay silent forever. The push and pull method is how shitty people get unsuspecting people to fall in love with them. It's when you give somebody a lot of attention until they get used to it, and then you take it away, and they're like, hey, what the heck? So you give it back, but not the full amount. You take it away, give it back, not the full amount. Give it away, take it back, give it away, take it back, but never the full amount you got in the beginning. And this, my friends, is also called love bombing. Let's talk about daddy issues really quick, okay? This is a term that's used when somebody has emotional or psychological issues stemming from a problematic or even absent relationship with their father. In women, this can look like a low self-esteem with a fear of abandonment, which can lead to a lot of self-sabotaging behaviors because they have both the distrust in men while simultaneously needing male validation. Daddy issues in men look very similar with just a few key differences, okay? So they still have a fear of abandonment, distrusting other men, and needing that external validation, but they usually seek it out from people in places of authority, and they also have a lot of intimacy issues, forming close bonds with other people because they tend to have anger and aggression issues. Now, there are a few ways that you can go about fixing your daddy issues, but this usually involves a lot of shadow work and healing your inner child that a lot of people just aren't willing to do. Let's talk about mommy issues really quick, okay? This is a term that comes from when somebody has emotional or psychological problems stemming from a dysfunctional relationship with their mother. And if you have mommy issues, this can really disrupt when you try to form romantic or even platonic relationships in your adult life. Now, in men, this can look like somebody who is emotionally distant. They have a hard time expressing their feelings. They could be controlling or possessive because they have a fear of losing people and just hold on to them a little bit too tight. And it could also just be that this man has a hard time trusting women, especially women who have authority. Now, women with mommy issues usually have a lot of insecurities, low self-esteem, and some sort of fear of abandonment, which causes them to go and seek out maternal validation from people who are not their mother, people like bosses, teachers, maybe a friend's mom, but at the same time, they also have a really hard time trusting women, which leads to a lot of rejection. Now, there are a lot of ways that you can go about fixing mommy issues, but this involves a lot of shadow work and healing your inner child that most people just aren't willing to do. Panasonic. Isn't that the company that used to make VHS TVs and home phones? Yeah, but I mean, they make way more than just that. How much more? Radios, cameras, headphones, ovens, air fryers, security systems. Wow, okay, that's like VR sets, wearable gaming headphones, razors, hair dryers, water flossers, AC units, supercooling freezers, industrial motors, robots. They make the batteries inside of electric cars and the 3D imaging radars. So they're just like another big tech company? Well, I mean, they also make bikes. This is Helen Hulick, a kindergarten teacher who in 1938 was a witness to a burglary, but the judge ended up sentencing her to 5 days in jail because she wore pants in the courtroom. Hulick arrived in downtown LA to give her testimony against the 2 burglary suspects when courtroom drama quickly shifted to the fact that she was wearing slacks. Judge Arthur S. Guerin rescheduled the hearing and ordered Helen to wear a dress next time. She responded by saying, "You tell that judge I will stand by my rights. If he orders me to wear a dress, I won't do it. I like my slacks. They're comfortable." And she showed up to court 5 days later just like she said she would. The judge once again rescheduled the hearing, ordering Helen to show up in an accepted dress, and if she refused, she was going to be prevented from testifying because it was hindering the administration of justice. Helen argued, saying that she's worn slacks since she was 15 years old, she doesn't own any dresses besides formal wear, and that she will show up tomorrow wearing slacks even if he does put me in jail, because hopefully it'll forever free women from this anti-slackism. Which is exactly what happened. She was sent to jail, forced to wear a denim prison dress, while her lawyer, along with the help of hundreds of letters sent in protest, got the rule changed and she was free to wear slacks in court. And this is the best part, because after her appeal was won, point was made, she went to court a couple months later wearing a dress on her own terms. Here are 5 foods making you more anxious than you need to be. Toast, especially white bread, because the highly processed flour gets quickly turned into blood sugar, which can cause energy spikes and crashes, which is not great for anxiety. Coffee seems like an obvious one, but so many people drink it anyway. The way it makes your body feel contributes to that nervous feeling, and it can mess up your sleep, which is not going to be helpful for your anxiety or depression. Ketchup is just tomatoes, right? Wrong. There is so much sugar in this, about 4 grams per tablespoon, which is going to be making your heart pump and you feel things that you probably don't want to feel. Frosting is not just sugar. This has about 5 grams of trans fats per serving, which is linked directly to anxiety. The fiber in whole fruit fills you up and slows down how your body takes in energy, but without that fiber, you're just drinking nutritious sugar water that's going to quickly hype you up and bring you down just as fast. Okay, so this means that you probably haven't been following me for very long, because if you have, you would know that I did in fact get the job at Best Buy, but I got fired from it for making TikTok videos. It'd be after school, before work, I'd be in my little uniform, and I'd make some TikTok videos, and somebody complained to corporate because one of them went viral, and corporate sat me down, they're like, hey, delete these videos and we won't fire you. And I was like, aye, captain. So I deleted the videos, or drafted them. And they fired me anyway, right? So I was in this weird position of like, okay, I can go get another replaceable retail job to pay for my fucking college, or I can try out this TikTok thing. I had like 150K at the time. Tried the TikTok thing. 2 weeks after being fired, I hit 1 million followers. So it worked out. Getting fired from Best Buy was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. 1 door closed, 1 million other doors opened. So yeah, kind of a good question. I want to know, when did you guys follow me? How long have you been here? When I get into a depressive rut, the one thing that really helps me is completely forgetting about the way that people are supposed to do things. Like when I start having body image issues, I just shower in the dark. When I don't have enough energy to make a sandwich, I'll just eat the components of a sandwich straight out of the fridge. When my insomnia gets really bad and I can't fall asleep, I'll just put my head where my feet are supposed to go and pass out almost instantly. You can apply this little trick to almost everything in your life. If you guys want more examples of how I do this, just let me know for a part 2. Want to know how to be more attractive over text? Don't take yourself too seriously. When people pick up on those vibes, it's not gonna be great for you. Plus, the best way to get to know somebody is to just treat them like a friend rather than some potential romantic interest. Instead of starting a conversation off with, hey, hi, how are you? What are you doing? Just send them something that reminds you of them. People love talking about themselves, and it might even start your guys' own inside joke. Double check your grammar before you hit send. I'm serious about this one. Don't be the person that responds right away every single time, but also don't be the person that waits a few hours on purpose just to send a text back. Change it up a little bit. It's going to keep the momentum way more natural. Send a voice message every now and then. Let somebody hear what you sound like. It's so much more personal, and I swear anytime a girl sends me an audio clip, I listen to that thing 15 times. It's so much more hot than a giant paragraph. If you have a crush on somebody, do not do these things unless you just want to completely kill your chances. Do not go and tell your friends that you have a crush on this person, especially if nothing between you and this person has happened yet, okay? We know it's exciting to talk about your crush with your friends, but there's going to come a point where your friends are asking for updates when you don't have an update. So you're going to feel this pressure to push the relationship forward for the sake of the plot rather than in a natural way, and it's not going to work. Don't go and do that thing where you take back an offer. You know, when you invite somebody out, but then you follow it up with, oh, but it's fine if you don't want to. That just shows that you're not confident, and it's going to make you less attractive. Do not, under any circumstances, ask your crush why they didn't text you back. All they're going to think is, damn, why does this person care so much? And people got shit going on. It's probably not about you at all. Don't even worry about it, okay? But if it's consistent not texting back, maybe just take the hint. Here's some things that were so cool in the 2000s, but now in 2023 are no longer cool. Let me know if you guys have any more ideas and what year you were born. Wearing jeans and then throwing a skirt or a dress over it. Charity wristbands like Live Strong or I Love Boobies. Having a personalized ringtone was the epitome of badass. I think we should bring this one back, actually. Getting a single different colored hair extension. Bonus points if you had a feather in there too. Tiny eyebrows. I remember my mom would wax the shit out of my face to try and achieve this look. Texting like a fucking idiot was normal because you had to pay for each of the characters that went through, so that shit got expensive. And tiny phones too. The smaller the phone, the more you were getting laid. Tech hacks. Just like you can recover deleted photos, you can also recover deleted text messages. All you gotta do is hit that edit button in the messages, then show recently deleted, and they'll all pop up right there. When you go and follow somebody and it gives you a bunch of recommended accounts that you should probably also go and follow, these are the people that account is most interacting with. Go and look at their following and all the mutuals you guys have together. Those are the accounts that are most interacting with that account. You can listen in on people's conversations while you're out of the room by just using the Live Listens AirPod trick, because you can't trust the cheater or their friends to tell you the truth. Make sure you have some AirPods connected, then hit that little ear button, Live Listen, and then all you gotta do is leave an AirPod in the room you want to listen in on and put the other AirPod in your ear. So how many people did you cheat on Bella with this week? Oh, JS, my partner would never cheat on me. They say they love me and I have their passwords and location and I've met their family and we're planning a future together. Rookie mistake, okay? If a cheater wants to cheat, they're going to. You can't stop them, but you can figure it out a whole lot sooner with these. Today is the 4-month anniversary of this shitty fucking roller coaster I've been on of being broken up with and not being told why. In that time, I eventually did learn the truth. I got cheated on. Way too many friends knew about this and chose to leave me in the dark over it, and processing that along with the end of my relationship has been weird. So I made a video on my spam yesterday. It's my fucking life, but it kind of blew up a little bit. But because I'm me and my ex is my ex, the response so far has been, I don't believe you, which honestly, valid. I didn't believe it myself. It took a very long time for me to understand that this actually happened. But in the time of getting broken up with and learning why I got broken up with, they posted a lot of very cryptic videos where they admit it before they ever admitted it, you know? And people started pointing that out after I posted my video, and they deleted them. But I saved them, along with a few other videos from our relationship, which, looking back now, are ironic as fuck. Before I go and share this, though, I just want to say, do not go and send hate to anybody. No internet dogpiling. It's not fair. This whole situation isn't fair, but like, I've been through that, and it's a nightmare that I would not wish on anybody, especially somebody that in a very fucked up way I still love and care about. Just don't do it, okay? I just can't keep reading the rumors that I'm the one that fucked this up, because and to everybody that is already saying that I deserve to be cheated on because of the controversy that surrounds me, just know that you sound like somebody that would also go and shatter somebody else's sense of safety, trust, and love, okay? We should all strive to do better.
It's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Hey. No! I'm not me. I'm someone else. You're cute. What would you do if I was like some stranger at a bar and was like, hey? Running? That was good. You did Mario sprint across the whole bar. What a wait though! I have a boyfriend! What would you do if I wasn't me? If you weren't you? Well, no, because I have a girlfriend at home.
That one hurt just a little extra to rewatch because they did indeed have a girlfriend at home and still chose to go to another girl's hotel room and cheat on me. I think I'm gonna be single on purpose forever because I never want to do this shit again. So somehow I got invited to the SAG Awards by Netflix, YouTube, and People. Let me tell y'all, this was the most insane event I've ever been to in my whole life. I have no idea what I was doing here. I'm just a little old content creator now being surrounded by some of the biggest actors in the world. Can y'all tell I was a little overwhelmed and nervous by this? But all the other content creators I met were so cool. The event was beautiful, but it was crazy, you guys. Bella, JS was in the same room as Zendaya. I got to meet the cast of The Bear, Abbott Elementary, Everything Everywhere all at once. Me and Jenna Ortega made eye contact, and then Adam Sandler bumped into me, and then I bumped into Tobey Maguire. James Hong is 94 years old, finally winning an award, and then Evan Peters was just casually walking behind me as I went and got a Negroni Smagliato, which, honestly, pretty good. I understand why it was trending. It's just, guys, I was so thankful to be here, and I wanted to share it. If they lean forward towards you in conversation, this is a sign that somebody likes you, and if you like them, you should make a move. But if somebody suddenly glances sideways or squints, this is a sign that they're confused or annoyed with what was just said. And if somebody crosses their arms, they're uncomfortable, even if it's just on a subconscious level, and you can actually try and help them not feel this way anymore, make that feeling go away, by just shifting your body language slightly away from them and waiting to see. All it takes to avoid having others smell your nasty coffee breath is to just drink water afterwards. I promise you, the difference is night and day. You should always wash your clothes with cold water and not hot. There's no reason for it. Your detergent doesn't need it. It deteriorates your clothes faster, and the energy consumption is not worth it for your wallet or the environment. Next time you go to defrost your windshield, just make sure that these visors are down, because it's going to trap all of the air here, making it defrost so much faster. The absolute best time of the year to buy a television is right now. Couple weeks after the Super Bowl, so many people went and bought a TV just to watch the fucking game, but they didn't need one or could afford the TV, so they just go and return it. And these stores like Best Buy, fuck a Best Buy, by the way, and other places have to sell it at a discounted rate, even though it's a new TV. It's not new, it's open box, but it's basically new. So like, this isn't sponsored either, by the way. This is just a life hack I know because I used to work at these kind of stores, and around this time, so many people are bringing in TVs, just rows and rows of open box televisions. So if you're in the market for one, go fucking buy one right now! If you have a scar on your body, it might seem healed and dormant, but it actually needs constant regeneration to stay sealed. And if your body becomes too low on vitamin C, your scars could actually open back up. Every single year, more people are killed by excessive masturbation than they are sharks. I don't believe Hershey's is enough to do it, but snorting chocolate is fatal. Animal facts you didn't want to know. Bears have been known to give each other oral sex. Hippopotamuses have pink milk. The sex hormones of a cat underneath a microscope is almost identical to a plastic bag. And because of this, cats tend to get really excited around plastic bags because it smells like cat sex. Penguins love rocks. Like it's their whole love language. To the point that some penguins will steal rocks from others and even prostitute out their bodies for a precious fucking rock. Because of the sheer amount of speed and force that a dolphin ejaculates at, it's been hypothesized that if a dolphin was to finish inside of a human being, it would just completely explode all the organs inside.
If your suicide attempt would have worked, how long has it been since we would have lost you?
Do you avoid eye contact? Are you constantly checking out how you look? Do you just never disagree with people? Do you gravitate towards the back of the room? Or say as little as possible? Well, my good friend, these are what we call restrictive safety behaviors, and it means that you most likely have social anxiety. And a recent study just came out showing that these behaviors can make people secretly hate you. So basically, somebody with social anxiety doesn't really want to share much about themselves because they feel like they're going to be judged harshly because of how much they judge themselves with the shame and the self-loathing. So they put on more of a rehearsal when talking to people, but from the other side, they just view it as you being disingenuous and not like authentic, making you less likable. This study hurts my fucking soul. June 30th is what experts are calling the death of the internet as we know it, because the Supreme Court is taking on 4 cases, and depending on the ruling, it could change social media forever. Content monetization, algorithm recommendations, the way big tech has been operating for the last 25 years is being called into question. Best case scenario, these hearings turn social media into the wild, wild west where everybody can do and post what they want, but that seems very unlikely. The worst case scenario has been described as instead of uploading a video to like YouTube and having YouTube push that out for other people to see, it'd be more like Google Drive where you upload a video and it's your responsibility to send the link to everybody that's going to watch it. And the whole concept of getting paid for video views will just... But not for all. They'll be able to pick a small group of creators to keep pushing and paying. Meaning the rich get richer and killing any opportunity for new content creators. What do you guys think about this? This is a heat map of the roughly 14,000 McDonald's that exist within the United States border. 13,438 McDonald's just waiting on standby to shove a burger down your throat. And this is a little illustration of Germany, who in between their borders has about 25,000 castles! Just to put it in perspective for you guys, that's how big Germany is compared to the United States. Texas practically swallows Germany, but you know how many castles Texas has? 20! 2-0! Germany has more castles than America has McDonald's. So much so they have a castle-shaped McDonald's, which I feel like was a missed opportunity for Burger King. So some global scientists came together and wrote out what they think are going to be the most threatening issues of 2023. Let's go through it. Number 10 is water. Some people aren't going to have enough. and other people are gonna have way too much. It's gonna put some stress on agriculture and probably displace a lot of people from their homes. Number 9 is TikTok. Millennials and Gen Z are far more progressive than any other generation we've seen before. With the power of the internet and using that for activism, there's been a big scare in people of power. And if so, that they're still trying to ban the app. Number 8 is America. We're so divided, but it's ranked so low because experts aren't really too panicked about it. The majority of Americans are somewhere in the middle rather than on the really loud extremes. And all those insurrectionist politicians got voted out, so no constitutional crisis here. Yet. At number 7, we got stunted global development. The last 50 years have seen a lot of growth in terms of education, healthcare, and safety, but the middle class is shrinking just as fast as it appeared. And experts say in the almost 3 years it's been since the pandemic that we've gone backwards in human development about 5 years. Number 6 is going to be energy. Europe isn't buying Russia's oil anymore, and they're not going to. And this is driving up prices on a global scale. That and gas companies just blatantly overcharging us. Number 5 is Iran. They were full of demonstrations after the morality police murdered Mahsa Amini. And ever since, the women there have been fighting for their liberation. But the government isn't listening to the words of their people and instead just blaming America. And the president directly helping Putin invade Ukraine is just the extra added layer of what the Number 4 is inflation. Quarantine stopped the economy, and when it started again, some parts were allowed to operate before others. So when people were finally ready to spend money, they couldn't because of supply chain disruptions. They're saying that prices are going to continue to go up, and it's rich countries that are probably going to be okay, but these poorer countries are most likely going to be on the brink of collapse. Number 3 is misinformation. Now, it's not the intention of social media or these AI tools to make people believe in conspiracy theories, but it is the unintended consequence of the business model. And because of this, the whole democracy thing is being questioned not just in the United States, but around the whole world. Number 2 is the fact that Xi Jinping has gotten rid of term limits and made it to where he is the leader of China for life. He has surrounded himself with Communist Party yes-men and even kicked out the previous president. This isn't even how China was ran just 10 years ago, and the chances of this going down a dark path are very high. At number 1, we got Russia going rogue. Putin is completely isolated and shut them off from the rest of the world, while they're completely losing the war that they started. They're seen as war criminals, but they're not going anywhere. Nobody's gonna kick Putin out of office. They have the most nuclear warheads out of anybody in the world. Because of this, NATO is consolidating and tensions are high. If you have a sweater that's really staticky, take a metal safety pin and put it on the inside where nobody can see it. This is going to collect the static and prevent it from building up throughout the day. You do not need to buy some crazy chemical to kill ants. All you need to do is fill up a spray bottle with 3 parts water, 1 part salt. It's gonna do the trick perfectly fine, I promise you. If you put a tablespoon of vanilla extract into your paint before going up onto the walls, it's not gonna affect the color, but it'll make the whole room smell like cookies. My therapist told me something the other day that I think more people need to hear, and that is that anger, most of the time, is a secondary emotion. And usually, you're feeling a primary emotion, but shoving that down because it's harder to articulate. And that's because anger is the part of you that loves yourself. It's fighting for yourself. It knows that there's been mistreatment and that you deserve better, but still, it's not what you're actually feeling. The same way you cannot see your reflection in boiling water is the same way you can't see the truth when you're in a rage. The water needs to settle down for there to be clarity. So the little technique she gave me to try that you can too is called anything but anger, because I am always angry, apparently. She says it's because I grew up with an angry man in my house, but I live alone now, which means it's time to start digging deeper and see what we're actually feeling in here. Can I ask what you guys think about a 48-year-old dating a 19-year-old? Because I'm kind of torn. Usually I have the mindset of, if you're an adult, you can choose to live your life how you see fit as long as you're not harming anybody else. And these girls that date Leo, they know what's going on. They know that the time is limited, or at least I hope they do. But at the same time, their age difference is the same between me and my dad. I also believe that there's levels to being an adult. So I'm 23. That's 5 years old in the adult world. If you're 19, you are 1. If you choose to believe my logic on this, that would make Leo 30. This is him at 29 or 11 in the adult world, the same year that his new girlfriend was born. This is what he would look like if they were somehow the same age right now. This is what's eating Gilbert grapes, Leo. Look at his baby face. And it's not about looks. I'm trying to say that these are very different kinds of adults. Why won't age-appropriate women date him? I think we should break up. Okay. You're just gonna say okay? What do you expect me to say? I don't know. Maybe ask why? Why? Do you already know? You already seem to know why, and that's enough reason for me. Why would I want to continue a relationship with somebody who's already made up their mind about not continuing a relationship with me? What if my mind isn't fully made up? I don't know. I thought maybe you would want to, like, talk about it. And then what? Be okay? Maybe? Don't you want to be in a relationship with me? You're acting like you don't care. We can talk about it all you want, but the reality is you're unhappy, and I'm unhappy knowing that, and doing more of the same isn't going to change anything. You already made the decision to break up with me, and the universe is going to make that happen no matter if we keep talking about it or just accept it. Is that what you think? What do you think? Has anybody ever told you that the place you're living might be on a list of a potential nuclear target if there was ever a nuclear war? They don't really teach this in school, do they? Okay, so black dots are if it's a 2,000 warhead scenario and triangles are 500 warhead scenario, but I don't think it matters because I'll be dead anyway. But I do feel like where I'm from makes sense. Even the 2 bombs on Vegas, it's like we do not want fallout happening. I don't know how I feel about Jersey being bombed off the face of the planet because, like, I lived there too. Just the East Coast looks insane. In reality, I feel like they could just target Yellowstone and get the job done way more effectively. I don't know who they is, but like somebody, like the fact that they're not planning to bomb either of the Dakota's capitals, though, kinda it's a little funny.
Totally not moving.
This freaks me out, and I wanted to share it because I wanted to freak you out too, so we can talk about it and be freaked out together. If somebody is blinking a lot in conversation with you, this is a sign that they're thinking about something, possibly evaluating you. If somebody ever touches their neck, this is a signal that they're stressed out and want you to continue saying whatever it is you were saying. If somebody ever touches their forehead or blocks their eye line, they are ashamed of what you just said. They might disagree. They might even be uncomfortable continuing talking to you. Here's some ways to respond to common mind games that people play on you. If someone is giving you the silent treatment, ignore them until they cave. If you're dealing with somebody who's using a lot of negative humor, especially towards you, just smile and ask them questions. Have them clarify. Literally put the spotlight on them and their awful jokes. If somebody's gaslighting you, like actually gaslighting, making you question your reality, just disengage and walk away. If somebody is projecting their insecurities on you, don't take the bait. Recognize that this conversation isn't about you, it's about them, and you don't have to partake in it. If you think somebody is pretending to be ignorant, just take them at their word for it, but make sure that you're judging them based on their actions and not their intentions. If somebody tries to guilt trip you, respond with empathy, but man, just trust your gut.
Hi there. You happen to know.
Welcome to all of us. How are you? Good? Glad to hear. What do I know? What don't I know? Have you seen our deals today? Also, are you aware of the fact that the majority of people believe God is a man? Every natural law we have says that females are the ones that create life. All asexual beings are females. Most likely, if God is God, they're not binary. All of us, stop and think. Small talk is stupid and boring, and if another person asks me what I like to do for fun, I'm gonna lose my shit for fun. Okay, so here's some better questions to have more meaningful conversations. Just dive headfirst in and ask somebody what their biggest regret is. You're gonna learn a lot. On the flip side, ask somebody what the most hurtful thing somebody's ever said to them was. Shit gets dark. Would your 13-year-old self like who you are right now? Mine wouldn't. I was holding on to some deep internalized homophobia. If money wasn't a factor in anything, what would you be doing? My all-time favorite question to ask is, what is something people assume about you that isn't true, but you wish was? Gives you a really big insight on how this person views themselves. Tell someone that you switched all the contacts around in their phone, but don't actually do it. Take a couple of tiny helium balloons and put them inside of a toilet. That way, when somebody opens up the lid, the little floating balloon slowly rises up and gently startles your victim. Take a bunch of harmonicas and duct tape them to the underside of somebody's car. That way, when somebody's driving, they'll hear a really strange noise that cars are not supposed to make. It's Astro's 2nd birthday. We're throwing him a little bit of a party. Look how excited he has no idea. But I bought these mini ice cream things, and I know he's just gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Peanut butter pretzel, it's all for you. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that right there. Yeah! Look at how sad that one looks. Don't even worry about her though. It's not her birthday, but she still gets one. You do get one because you're really cute, and I feel bad leaving you out like that. I'm just really getting into it. I don't want her to get bigger, bro. Look at, she's already like massive.
To everyone that said my knee tattoos looked stupid, I present to you how they look in ripped jeans. You guys were ready?
Here are some kids' toys that got banned for being too dangerous. This toy, called a Jibba Jabber. The object of this toy was to beat it up. It was pulled from the shelves after being linked to making kids want to strangle each other. Pokemon and Burger King partnered up and made these tiny keychain Pokeballs with no holes in it for like a child to breathe that might try to eat the toy, because that's what kids do. They just eat tiny things. Kids fucking died from these. Moon shoes were like these half buckets with rubber bands and Velcro to keep your feet attached to them. And it was capable of launching a child like feet into the air. So many kids broke their ankles and cracked their skulls because of these. I remember I got them for Christmas and then my parents immediately took them away. This Quick Click Polly Pocket set were tiny pieces of plastic with magnets embedded into them. Sounds yummy. Definitely not like we're taking the trip to the hospital. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. Life didn't give us lemons. They are not a naturally occurring fruit. Unlike you. They came to be when somebody cross-pollinated an orange with a citron. We gave life to lemons. Facts that I wish I didn't know. While you're just scrolling right now, your tongue is most likely suctioned to the roof of your mouth. Memories can get passed down through genes, so that weird fear you have might be a fear that your ancestor had a reason to be afraid of. Most spiders shed an exoskeleton, so whenever you find like a dead spider, it's most likely just an empty husk and there's a slightly bigger spider somewhere nearby. In America, more kids die from gun violence than cancer, and toddlers kill twice as many Americans with guns than terrorists do. Dolphins have the capacity to kill themselves, and they do so by deciding to just not breathe anymore. They suffocate themselves. Hey, you're not supposed to feel your organs? Your organs have nerve tissue, so you should be able to feel them technically, like, especially if there's pain. But because you've been in your body for longer than you can remember, you should be used to it. Like, astronauts, when they come back to Earth's gravity, feel a lot of nausea and discomfort because they can feel their organs again. What would happen if you were allergic to yourself? Well, this would be an autoimmune disease where your body, like, doesn't recognize your body, so it attacks it. And this allergy to yourself can affect all of you, your skin, lungs, stomach, heart, or brain. And I make other people allergic to me? Okay. It's out of your control and extremely rare, but yes, it is possible for you to be allergic to somebody else or for somebody else to be allergic to you. Your skin, hair, spit, and other fluids could all cause a reaction for somebody else.
He really puts the S in astronaut, because I know Nova's tiny bum couldn't do this much.
I put my dogs outside because they knocked on the window and asked to, so I let them out happily, thinking they were just going to go to the bathroom. I turned and I see this. She could not have done that. Look at her tiny ass. You ran into the wall? That's his ass. That's your big ass fucking butt, dude. What do you have to say for yourself? He's like, let me in the house. No. I don't know how to fix that. Nova, please. I don't know how to. Oh, no. That pain you feel from a sunburn is your skin cells committing suicide before they mutate into cancer. It's completely possible to become allergic to yourself. Your brain is the only thing keeping you from feeling your organs. The food pyramid is a scam. In the late 80s, early 90s, food scientists came together to try and figure out what would be the optimal diet for a human being. But the results were not in line with what the big food corporations wanted to sell us, So they changed the science. Like, they completely changed around the whole idea of what we should be eating. The original recommended 5 to 9 servings of fruit and vegetables a day, but that got changed to just 2 or 3. The original said 3 to 4 servings of whole grain, but cereal companies especially changed that to 6 to 11 servings per day, completely changing out what the foundation of the pyramid looks like. You know, when the original dairy wasn't even its own section at all? They added it in there though to make people think that it's necessary for a balanced diet. The original creator of the food pyramid has gone on record saying that it's clear that her design was just sold to the highest bidder because she does not recognize what it's turned into. And then we sit around and wonder why Americans get so sick. Here's some things you can do with your body after you die that seem way cooler than being forced to wear formal wear in a box for eternity. You can become electricity. You just gotta make sure that somebody takes you to a crematorium that's able to convert the excess heat coming off your corpse into power. Your body alone would generate enough kilowatts to power 1,500 televisions for an hour. For just $120 a month plus $200,000, you can cryogenically freeze your body. Just for the hopes that one day humans will have the technology to bring you back to life. Like, you want to go through this again. If you're looking for a more budget-friendly option for just $99.95, you can float 30,000 feet up in the air by putting your ashes in a biodegradable balloon until it floats high enough that it freezes and pops, and your ashes are just scattered across the ozone layer that we all breathe.
Oops, got your coping skills. Now let's see what we got. That's not a coping skill.
Go and text somebody that you have absolutely no plans with and ask them what their ETA is. Just add a little bit of panic into their routine for fun. Take a sticky note and write down, "Sorry, I scratched your car." No name, no phone number, nothing else. And then go put that on a car that you did not scratch. They're going to be freaking out all day. If you ever have 2 friends meeting each other for the first time, make sure you tell each of them separately that the other one is hard of hearing, so they're going to have to talk pretty loud. You're going to end up with 2 people just politely screaming at each other.
I'll do a wraparound. We'll wrap around.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Kinda. I'm actually fine with it. Your coffee is already infested with cockroaches. There's no better way to say this. Like, when your coffee beans get grounded up, there's most definitely cockroaches already in there. This is why when people become allergic to coffee, they also develop an allergy to cockroaches. Like, the cockroaches that crawled up in your drink probably were just smelling their brothers and sisters, looking for them. You know, if you're drinking coffee, you just have to be okay with the fact that you're also drinking cockroaches. You sound kind of stuffy, and I just wanted to let you know that if you lay the nostril you can breathe through towards the pillow, the one that's blocked will clear in just a couple of minutes. How did you get in my room? Damn it! Fuck you! Why are you binging me? It's supposed to be a distraction from the toe pain. Hey, what's wrong with you? I have the worst headache. Have you tried masturbating? Why would I do that? I'm just saying, it'll help. Facts that I wish I didn't know. When Gerardo Mendina turned 18 years old, his mom, Lena, was 23, meaning she had her son at just 5 years old, making her the youngest mother ever. Sudden adult death syndrome is the thing, where your heart just stops seemingly for no reason, like a cardiac arrest, except no cardiac arrest can be detected. So dementia is what they say when there's symptoms of a decline in thinking skills and memory loss, and Alzheimer's is the disease that can cause it. And signs that you might grow up and have this can be detected as early as 3 years old. Not just that though, the symptoms too. Alzheimer's and dementia in children exists, meaning that anybody at any age can completely lose their mind and become a husk of themselves. The Egyptians' love for cats is so strong that it actually cost them winning a war. This is because the Persians tied cats to their shields, and there was just no way that they were going to take a sword and fight essentially their gods. The American bison is the only animal whose lungs aren't separated. They share one capacity, which explains why these huge animals were able to be so easily killed with such a small weapon. One arrow to the lung and both would collapse and they would suffocate pretty quickly. Rescue dogs on 9/11 were sent into the wreckage to try and find survivors. But every person that they found was already dead, and the dogs were getting like visibly depressed by this, thinking that they weren't doing a good job. The handlers noticed this and would go and pretend to hide in the rubble. That way when the dog finally found somebody who was alive, it would boost the morale a little bit. So there was a little experiment done where they put different brands of AA batteries inside of a flashlight to see which one would last the longest. And it turns out that not all batteries are created equal. So the worst brand you could possibly buy are these yellow packaged Panasonic batteries. They only lasted 2 hours in the flashlight. Lasting only 2.5 hours were these Rayovac high energy batteries. The black Panasonics lasted around 3 hours. These Ever Ready Golds weren't all that ready, only lasting about 3.5 hours. Sunbeam came in at 4.5 hours. The CVS brand batteries lasted 5 hours exactly, while the Energizer Bunny batteries lasted 5 hours and 15 minutes. The Rite Aid Home brand lasted 5.5 hours. Costco's Kirkland batteries lasted about 5 hours 45 minutes, but lasting 6 hours and taking the trophy as the world's longest lasting battery is Duracell. I mean, like, why waste your money with any of these other brands, you know? You can mute your microwave by just holding down the 2 button for a couple of seconds. That way you can make food in the middle of the night without waking anybody up. So whenever you guys are making pasta or something, instead of like struggling to pour this through the strainer holding both, you can just put the strainer in the pot. Easy. Next time you go to grate cheese, don't go like this, because it's frustrating and you're just gonna make a mess. Instead, turn the grater onto its side. The grater will catch all the cheese inside of there for you. Oh.